Ho, 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 and merry everything to everyone. This is Wild and Weird Radio live, and this is our actual first pre-Christmas show.
It
So
is,
it's a
yeah. This is the
big
first
deal.
live
It's a big deal.
holiday kind of show that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We got a few things to talk, a lot of things to talk about actually, and some really relevant things to talk
And,
about.
and one of the first things we're going to talk about is this right here. Before the
Yeah,
show even started, Julie Bug kicked open the
fantastic,
gates
guys.
with Merry Christmas to you all. Sorry, I have prior commitments with my family tonight. So if I miss a show, um, if I'm finishing time, I'll drop in. Much love to you guys. Stay weird.
Thank you.
You better believe it. We
Thank you.
will
Thank
stay
you.
weird. And Julie Bug has invoked immediately out the gate.
Oh, I think Nancy just made us change the background, is what I think.
Oh, that's where we're going with this one now.
Do it. Turn the lights on. It's got to be festive in here.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
There we go. Now it's looking more like a party. All right. Even got the lights changing colors for you,
Oh,
everything. Yeah, I know, right? I spared no expense. I mean, I kind of,
so
well, I kind of
everybody
did.
over in the comments, we've got Julie Bug and we've got Nancy hanging out with us. Deucer is out there in the comments as well. So is Spooky Appalachia and Larry Hose, Chris Coots. We got Ashley Hilt's in the house.
Ashley,
Dell Ty is hanging out with us tonight.
Dell,
What's going on, everybody? Of course, as always,
everything just
Miss
went
Lisa
black.
Beard is here.
That was
Thanks
interesting.
for joining us. Anita Allen is also in the house. Scott Holbrook, what's going on, brother? And I think that's everybody that's at least in the
So
chat
far,
right now. I know there's a few more of you
all
guys
right.
out there watching. So if you're in YouTube land, go ahead and leave a comment and say hello.
Yep, you're out there in Facebook. Do the same thing, and then share it out. Share it out. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Um,
Oh, man.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. How many of you guys tuned in? Oh yeah, let's do this first before we even get to the
Yeah,
questions.
it's that time of the night. Just getting it kicked off. We've got Adam Good, Teresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Urednick, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Bigfoot Littlefoot, Tommy Swigger, Terry Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, and Finding the Trackway. You guys are all what keep this show on the road, keep this show on air live
Absolutely.
and on air on a regularly scheduled run weekly for free with no other extra add ons where you've got to buy in to get spare content. We provide everything we've got right here for you all because you guys, you keep it free. You're
Yeah, they
out there
have.
keeping it free for everybody for eons and eons to come. And for that, we thank you.
Absolutely, and we do thank you. And speaking of which, we had some really good news this week for the old podcast.
We did. Did you? Is there any chance we don't have those graphics in here? Do
I can
we?
get those graphics in, so yeah, I'll get those graphics up here in
Yeah,
just a little bit.
we'll show you the graphics for those as proof. But man, we blown away is what we are.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's every bit thanks to you guys,
Yeah,
100% thanks to you guys because, well, I mean, someone's out there is enjoying the show. That's all I can say.
right. Tommy Swigger's in the house. We've got Oz in the Woods hanging out with us out there in comments as well. Then let's see. Everybody seems to be having so far. Yeah, where Spooky's got a good point. Where is Mr. Good?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. He should be popping in here, I would think. Let's get him a message out and say where is he. You know, that's what we
Yep,
do here.
I'm on it.
We take care of our people around here. We got to make sure
We
everything's all
do.
right. So we want
And
to.
again, guys, if you all are on social media, if you send us a friend request, we will generally respond, and uh, and we'll keep in touch with you and whatnot.
Let's see if I can get this thing to work here. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right here, and I'm gonna put in this one here. So I got some graphics here for you guys. We're gonna pop up. and it's pretty. I think it's pretty
Ada
cool.
Cox. What is going on, Ada? Thank you, thank you, thank you for that super chat. You're awesome. And
No, that's pretty cool, but I think she deserves something a little more festive. We'll pop that up later too. Um, yeah, I told you I'd finish it out for you guys. I wasn't lying. Said I would
you
do it.
guys, y'all are awesome. And this is it's it's log. It's log, the poo log.
Turn it off there. Yep, it's Loggy. That's right.
Ike jumped in here with
Hey,
us.
Ike.
Where is he at? I just saw him pop up a second ago.
Ike's here.
Hey, there we go. Ike's
All
here.
right, sweet. Looks like we got us a party going on,
I
guys.
know.
All right, I'm going to try to
Oh,
find this.
Linda jumped on. Hey, Linda, how you doing?
Linda. All right, good, good, good.
So, guys,
Trying to find
the
this.
updates that we got this week literally were
Here we are.
shocking.
Okay.
Because when you host a show and you watch analytics and you follow up on things and you see where things are going week by week, but you, I guess, take for granted how things are going behind the scenes.
You really do. It just becomes like there's a lot to this show. First of all,
Yeah.
there's a lot to this show. There's a lot of sharing stuff, and just trying to beat your head against the wall and trying to get somebody to share something that isn't fake. And it's really hard to do that. And apparently, it's working, at least out there in audio land. Now, if we can get you audio guys over here, boy, we've.
Oh yeah. The
Mm,
audio over in audio land, guys, like it's one of those things where, like I said, you take for granted what's going on behind the scenes from our perspective because we're doing the show, we're jumping in here and getting the lives going, and we are following metrics, we're keeping an eye on things, but like there's more to it than what we can actually see most of the time. And this week was a prime example of that because we got some crazy metrics.
So this is the 2023 metrics. So
yes, this is just the last
this
360 days because it counted up to I think December 20th.
Yeah,
and these were the top episodes, and then these were the globe around the world, different downloads we were getting. And then we looked further and see that top 25%. That's not just in our genre. That is top 25% of all shows. That's all
crazy.
podcasts that are out there. And in a world where there's about half as many podcasts as there are humans, being in the top 25% is mind-blowing to me.
It's not bad.
Like that,
I'm impressed.
I'll take that all day.
I'm very impressed with that. Numbers.
And we've got over 1,000 people who are listening every week, over 1,000 downloads a week. And at this point, because it's gone up here in the last little bit, but over the whole year, there's 33,000 downloads, almost 34. And we were in 59 countries. And we had 44 episodes.
59 countries, Joe.
59 countries.
59 countries.
And then we've got Charleston, West Virginia, real close to our hometown. It's Ron's hometown. And there were that was our most popular city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, really cool seeing that the hometown right here, because for years that was not the case.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was everywhere else but here was listening, but now we've got a base here and it's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
And we were given the Weekly Warrior Award because we had 44 episodes. Obviously, we took off for holidays. We had a few missteps where we were out on shows and had to take off a week here and there. But 44 shows. And Wild and Weird Radio was in the top 25% of all Buzzsprout podcasts. Like,
I'll take it.
all
I'll
day.
take it. I'll take it. Let's see if we can go higher next year. Let's see what's
So
possible.
you guys, guys, y'all are awesome. Thank you everybody who listens. Thank you everybody who downloads.
Many thank yous to
Um,
everyone.
you're fantastic. Blew us away.
Was not expecting it, guys. Was not expecting it. Got that mail and it was like, wait a minute.
It is a poop log miracle.
It is, Oz. It's an absolute poop log miracle. I mean, it really is. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations out there. It
Well,
was
thank yourselves, though. I mean, really, thank yourselves. Because seriously,
Hey Donna, how you doing? Yes, I agree. I hope everybody is staying warm. It's currently 20
yes.
at the house. I'm down in the basement, and I did not wear my house slippers downstairs, so I'm
Oh,
keeping my feet off the floor.
so what's the weather like out there in your land, guys? You got some? Anybody got any snow, or is it raining or anything?
Brandon had a typhoon of children attack his office.
That's about right.
He's supposed to jump on his phone later, just to talk to you guys and tell everybody Merry Christmas and such. But
He is supposed.
he
to.
had a hurricane roll through his office and is in cleanup mode right now. So he'll hopefully be on later. Then, thank goodness. Spooky said that finally over COVID and flu. Now I'm
Yes.
enjoying some apple butter.
Yes.
So just got to get all those weirdos in here with us weirdo peeps. That's right. That's right. We just got to get, if we can get everybody that's downloading weekly episodes to jump on the live with us, that would be an absolute ball. Lisa said the snow is gone, headed to the 50s tomorrow. Yeah, we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Tonight's the last bit of cold. We're going to be cold here again tomorrow. Then we're going up on Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Got about to it. We had when I came home on Wednesday night, we had an inch of snow on the ground from that little squall.
Yeah, there's a little squall that came through. It was pretty.
But that was it.
Pretty amazing, actually.
Now the farm got 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little higher elevation.
Pretty crazy. So, you guys, how many of you guys listened to or watched, I should say, last week's? What was it? It was the War of the Gods, right? Yeah, that was the episode.
Last week's
War
episode.
of the Gods. How many of you guys actually listened to or watched last week's podcast episode, War of the Gods? I don't know about anyone else would have made it here. Yes. No snow, Ashley. Oh.
I know there were a few of you guys that listened to the War of the Gods, at least because there were some comments underneath the video.
Oh, there was some phenomenal live comments that
Tommy watched it.
Tommy was there. Yeah.
I know Fishbelly watched it.
Yep.
Anita was there.
Yep. Well, this week we're going to have a follow up to that, and it's
Larry Hose was there.
It's a little more in depth, and it's a little more focused. But I'm bringing it up because there was some interesting news that just started popping up here this week. Officially, it's been out there. It's not anything that's really new. I don't think it's.
Down there where you're at, Dewey. That's a cold one.
We've been talking about for a pretty good long time, actually.
Yeah, you guys, you're really going to enjoy the episode. That is for sure.
But apparently, last week the National Defense Authorization Act did pass. Of course, we know that the one amendment was kind of stripped a little bit, and the powers were taken away. But the Burchett's little half-page amendment made it through, and in that, he does call for a public disclosure. Which they granted. The only difference is that if it's a threat to national security, it can be waived. So, legalized cover-up is what it says. But, that being said, we were told that there would be something called catastrophic disclosure if this didn't
Yeah.
happen, right? And we were like, well, what is that? And everyone's kept throwing this word around, ontological shock, so much to the fact that it's a joke at this point. And there's a few people who were like, well, there might be more to this. There might be more to this than just UFOs, flying saucers, and little green men. And we've kind of said that for a while. Though there are those out there who would like to label these things, which they may. I don't. It doesn't really matter. It's neither here nor there. But one of the proponents of that stepped up, and that was Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Like him or not, it really doesn't matter because what he's saying is actually words that others have told him. It's validated. I can say that because I've heard the same thing for a very long time. And Tucker was on, who was it? Luke Rudkowski, in a Luke Rudkowski interview. And they were asking about, the whole UFO situation, non-human intelligence, all that. In a previous interview, he had said something about he didn't even want to discuss the possibility of what it was, and he didn't like to talk to his kids about it and all this. And no one was like, well, what are you talking about? So finally, he dropped the ball on it. And he said basically it's his personal belief, and it's based on a fair amount of evidence that they're not aliens. Right, Joe?
Yeah. That they've always been here.
Yeah, they've always been here. That's the
Which
same.
has been an argument that's been stated for ages.
Well, I mean, ancient astronaut theorists say yes, but more so, Gary Nolan said yes last July, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that he had stated was, I believe they've been here for a very long time. So we heard that. But then he goes on to say that he thinks it's more of a spiritual thing. Now, he's putting labels on this, but you see where he's going with this. Extra dimensional, whatever, not quite physical. We've talked about this before multiple times. But here's where it gets interesting. Yes, ultra-terrestrial, right eyes. That's another word. It's all, yep, parts of it. They've always been here. I agree. So
exactly, District.
Yes, we've never been alone. I mean,
yeah,
that's a fact. But he believes that the government has made contact with these entities, Joe. He stated that. He also stated that they are in agreement with them. Now, is he actually, this is my question, has he come across some whistleblower with actual hard evidence of this meeting? Or, and that meeting's been conjectured and theorized for years. Or is he kind of just reading off of some of that old lore?
Well, if you pay attention to some of the stuff he's saying and the verbiage he uses, he says, I've seen it.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He's like, I've seen it.
Yeah, he's seen the evidence. That's what he says.
He's seen the evidence. He's seen the evidence of UFOs, and he even said it when he brought up the meeting. Mm-hmm. As if almost there was a transcript that he might have seen, or bits and pieces of something that he had seen, and he said it was unnerving.
Yeah. And then he was asked, well, are you saying they're angels or demons? Because he said it was spiritual. And he said, that's conjecture, but that he also believes that we are acted upon by forces of good and evil all the times. Now, let's break that down for a second. We just break this down for just 2 seconds here, because what he just said right there kind of goes toward the part where I said about perception, right?
Right.
Where we perceive these things. Well, if a certain person perceives this a certain way, well, lo and behold, it could be something quite different, right? Oh my.
Patrick, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping it free for eons to come. You are awesome. Again.
spared no expense. Like I said, it takes
That was great.
that was about a day's
Patrick, you
work.
unlocked a new one, buddy.
That was a day's work to make that. Just to let you guys know that I had to build a house, had to build a UFO, had to build a whole freaking forest for you guys, but I'd do it because you're wonderful people and we love you.
Oz in the Woods says, I appreciate this show because you followed the evidence, even when it's led to this type of hypothesis. It's the only way we can really figure this out. Others pick and choose.
I mean, we can say whatever it is, right? It doesn't really matter, but let's just look at the data. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break this down. We're just going to look at the data, is what he said, because he's saying things, but he's also throwing some beliefs in there, right, Joe?
Yeah, he is there. But most people, like realistically, the majority of people, there's going to be some sort of
It's
bias.
how they see it, right?
What is it?
It's how they see it.
Yeah, it's just in how they see it. It's the interpretation of what's going on. Now, you've got certain ways that you can look at this phenomena, and then there's others. If you come from a very religious background, it's easy to look and see and follow that verbiage. And if you do not come from a religious background, it's easy to hear that and scoff and walk it off and say, well, it's this, or this. But what has been stated multiple times by various people is that there is some sort of spiritual, what we call spiritual, what that term means.
Call it non-physical. Do you think that's the same thing? Because that's kind of where I'm at with it.
No, what was that?
Non-physical. Don't you think that's kind of possibly the same thing?
That spiritual context, it leans into that non-physical mode, because when we think of spiritual, we think supernatural. When we think supernatural, we start looking at the spiritual supernatural stuff as something that is tangible. You can feel it, but you can't grab a hold of it and run with it.
Right.
So it's ethereal. It is something that's there, but we can't just pick it up.
Right.
So that is easy to be viewed as of spiritual nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm definitely not finding any fault with that way of thinking. He says basically though that these things have been here. That's the bottom line. And what's really crazy about that is it was on News Nation.
Yeah.
There was another thing that happened on News Nation this past week, and that was retired U.S. Navy Rear Admiral, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, Tim Gaudet, said in an interview, these are the quotes that he used. We are being visited by non-human intelligence, the technology we really don't understand, and with they have their intentions, which we do not understand at all either. We don't want to release and disclose all the technology that we've recovered, but however, I think it is about time that we do disclose that we are in contact with non-human intelligences. That's okay. And that's what needs to come to the public. That's what he says. Joe, at the beginning of the year, we started this whole year, with the presentation, Making Contact, and in that we made a powerful case that contact was made.
Yeah.
And that when this contact was made, that it may not have been through physical means at first, that it may have been through psychical nature, with SRI being involved, the Stanford Research Institution back in the day, back in the 70s, during the Stargate program, during the whole, grill flame phenomena, all that. Scan8, all those early programs that involved psychic communication. This sounds to me, did you ever think yes, we're going to get to that actually.
Dewey's looking into his crystal ball.
Good job, Dewey. I'm proud of you. That's why we're friends.
He knows where we're headed with this here in a minute. That is going to come up.
Yeah. So the crazy thing to me is that we have went from not wanting to even address the occupants behind these UAP. Remember that?
Yep.
We're not going to put that on the table. We're not even going to talk about that.
Yes.
Aliens? No, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about any of that stuff. So we started the year shooting these things down. And all of a sudden, this word starts coming up: non-human intelligence.
And then Grush breaks apart that whole not talking about aliens argument with finding biologics.
Yeah. So here's my thing with this non-human intelligence. All right. We've got one side saying these are non-physical. We got another side that says we got biologics, like you just got through saying. What's really going on there? That's what you have to ask yourself. So are we, as we had posed in last week's and this week's episode of the actual podcast, are we humans caught in the middle of this ancient battle, so to speak, between these two sides? Because it does seem like that's what has happened in some cases here.
Tommy says, I feel like we're parasites living in the body of some being, and UAPs and UFOs are just the futuristic nanobots trying to eradicate us, keep us in control so the infection doesn't spread.
Well, you know, there's many theories as to what, they are, what they were, how we all fit into this mess.
So Bigfoot Littlefoot says, what is happening in the paranormal world is neither nature nor scientific, but it's spiritual.
Those are words. Those are
Yeah.
words. I respectfully agree and disagree with you at the same time. And it's okay
Yep.
to do that because that's how discourse works. But you're
and-
right. I mean, we're words. And that's what we're getting at here with this.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be our greatest hurdle, my friends.
And, when we get into the whole context of what's spiritual and what is scientific, even when you look through things from religious aspects, there is a lot of science that has took place through creation.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of the spirituality is very scientific in nature because we've been able to learn how to do it, right? Like we've learned how to meditate, learned how to pray, we've learned how to reach out and touch the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Without being able to do that, without having this learning experience, then we wouldn't be able to do that. Now to do those things requires study. And some of it can be scientific, it can be historic, it can be what you call it. But you learn how to do it. You learn how to tap in and touch that spiritual side of things, which could be in itself some form of science. Just not in the way that we understand it.
I mean, honest to goodness, the best way to look at this is
Dewey.
non-intelligent humans. Yes,
we also have non-intelligence humans.
Yes, we do, my friend. And that could be the reason for some of these contacts, by the way.
Yeah.
But the best way to look at it is that, think about your ancestors and how they would react if they saw some of the technology we have today. I mean, that's the best way to look at it. Or how would they react if they found out, that we could actually go to space?
Yeah.
What would they think about us? It really makes you look at these things in different lights. So yes, you're right. And it's really just this gray area of right and wrong at the same time, which is another concept that's hard for people to understand. Because if you tell someone, oh no, that's not how it is, boom, they automatically want to take a defense. It's like, well, you're not understanding. You're right. You're also wrong. How can that be? Well, that's not a normal human equation, is it? That's not a normal human thing, a way to think. My green screen's falling. And I think that is where we're at. We need some new terminologies. We need some new ways to understand this stuff.
And we've been saying that for years.
Oh, years
The
now.
lexicon within the
broken.
paranormal world, within the Bigfoot world, within the UFO world is broken.
Yep.
And that we are still using the same lexicon from the 1950s, 1960s, and before today to try to explain some of these phenomena when clearly some of it is radically different today.
Mhm.
The experiences are vastly different, and we do need to have new terminology. And following the trackway, what's interesting about what they said here, that there is light and there is dark.
Yes.
We are of the gray and hoping to reach the light, but the dark has other plans. And for the dark hungers for the warmth of even the smallest source of light.
One day you'll understand why that right there is the ultimate, the way that I see it. That's true.
And we even talk about that a little bit on tomorrow's show.
A little bit.
So, you know, we're looking, what is this? Go away. Sorry. Something just tried to pop up on my screen.
Oh,
but
no. They're after you.
I know, right? But we're dealing with terminology that needs to be updated.
Yes.
And we need to look at all of this far more objectively than what we do, because we have this propensity to measure everything in black and white.
Well, I think we needed to have this conversation years ago. And,
yeah,
you know, it was tried to be had, obviously, with Passport to Magonia, Jacques Vallée. That was 1969.
Yeah.
And then Keel came out in 1970 with, what was it, Operation Trojan Horse, right? And then it just went silent. Nobody talked about anything like that until sometime around in 2005 when they wrote Hunt for Skinwalker or whatever it was. You know, that, what? Why did it take so long to have this conversation?
Well, because you got to remember the old guard.
Yes.
You had the old guard, and Vallée was very much this bleeding edge individual.
Oh, yeah. It even surprised him that those theories were accepted, by the way. He thought for sure that was going to be a flop, that he was going to catch some major criticism, but instead it was just like a refreshing breath. You know, it was something that was different.
But it was one of these things where you still had the old guard, and the old guard was just replaced with more of the old guard because they picked people that followed under them to become the new heads of state, so to speak, in the communities. And in the background, these conversations were being had. And now that there is media like what we're on currently, where we have a platform where we can go out and do these things openly, we thought, just like Vallée, that when we started doing this, we were going to catch flack.
100%. Yeah.
We were anticipating, like, oh man, this lecture is going, there will be people at the table ready to beat us.
I was okay with that.
And we were anticipating, you know, very, very mixed reviews. But when we caught the exact opposite, that people were like, yes, this is needed to be talked about for a long time. Yeah, I'm so glad that, you know, this is coming out and people are starting to talk about this. This is becoming more in the stream of where we're at, you know. That is, it was really, really impressive.
It was very refreshing.
And very shocking.
I was totally shocked. I totally did not expect it at all because, well, you know how it is. I mean,
Eyelash says, I'm reading Operation Trojan Horse now, and the sheer volume of evidence he presents is overwhelming.
And that was then.
Linda Sigmund says, L.A. Marzulli believes we are in a spiritual war. I used to speak with L.A. quite a bit, and I do not any longer.
Well, I think there's a difference here. I think that you can, there's people who are looking at it and
Spooky thought
seriously
CGI.
What is it? Oh, you
Spooky thought your hat was CGI.
I'm good, buddy, but I'm not that good. I can't do object tracing. But what I can do is I'm going to hide this for a second because I just replaced this while we were talking because it's driving me crazy when it goes to black. So let me delete that. You know, there are people who have their theories, like legitimate, honest to goodness theories, and there are people who are really just doing it to be selling stuff and, you know, books and whatnot. I don't think that Valet did that. I think
Right.
that he was coming across something that was pretty revolutionary at the time, honestly, because everybody was thinking these are nuts and bolts. But we
Mhm.
also talked about, you know, Kenneth Arnold. He came to
Yeah,
that same conclusion, remember?
he did.
So this is something that's been talked about for a very, very, very long time. And again, it's, these people are, they're going to find out that people are right and wrong at the same time. And that's really going to be a weird conversation to have and a weird way to accept this and understand it. Is that you? Did someone just, what in the world is going on outside?
It's
Oh,
it really is interesting, man. Like with everything that's going on and the fact that there are so many people looking at this now, um,
there we go.
because it is a national topic at this point for various reasons, like the whole deal with um, the news coverage, obviously.
Yeah.
But then we're coming at this where you're hearing these spiritual arguments, you're hearing all of this debate,
So
and
how are we supposed to deal with that?
here's the issue: how do we deal with it? Because not only are we're seeing that these things come from some other realm of physics that we can't grasp, but then there's also nuts and bolts.
I'll be right back. You hold the room, okay?
Yeah.
Let me find my thing.
So we're dealing with something that is, and this is part of the reason why the terminology does need updated, is because we're dealing with a subject where we do have these nuts and bolts things, right? We have crash retrieval. We have things that perform and operate in ways that we literally cannot wrap our minds around. We're dealing with stuff that operate on physics that are beyond our comprehension, things that seem to be bleeding in and out of this reality. And there's only certain ways that would be even possible, and it's extra dimensional, or they've got wormholes that they're able to just, you know, create an Einstein Rosen bridge immediately and then close it like a warp hole. Um, and Ashley brings up a good point. It sucks to explain a mystery with another mystery, and I really try hard not to do that, but sometimes that's all you got. Yeah, and with this, I try not to explain as much as possible because it's so hard to try to explain. So you compartmentalize, and that's why I set and stage things out as best as I can, at least in my own head. That this is this, this is this, this is this, because to me, recovering a fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, whatever we're going to call it, UFO in this dimension seems rather impossible, would it not? So it lends to the possibility of, yet again, just like with the Bigfoot phenomena, we're dealing with more than one thing out in the woods, just like we're dealing more than one thing in this reality. So who's to say that there are not extraterrestrials and these ultra terrestrials along with extra dimensionals? Like, it seems that that is the case. It seems that is what we are working with, because we have things that can completely change their matter form, but yet we can pick it up and haul it off on the back of a truck. Um, Larry Potter says the next big discovery will be new physics. Oh yeah, I agree. And they've already discovered some new physics. We've got Ron.
Yeah, I'm back.
Um, I was in the woods. I have 4 audiobooks out and trying to get my newest
There
one
we go.
uh audio date auditioned. Yeah, I can read. So let's see. Finding the trackway wormholes would be tough though, given the constant movement of the galaxy. Something like a anchor would be needed. It would be. You would have to have some sort of anchor point based off what we understand currently,
We don't understand much.
and which is like that much.
Yeah, literally.
So
And I think that's one of the big issues with, well, with a lot of things, with a lot of the skeptics that are out there. They're like, oh well, uh, why would these UFOs come this far and then crash? Things like that. Well, we don't understand. We don't know. We can't answer those questions because there's a lot of stuff that's going on out there.
So Linda asked the question, do you believe all cryptids are related or from the same source? Short answer from me is no,
Well, cryptids, no, but
because a lot of, true honest to God cryptozoology, you're dealing with animals.
yeah,
Now, when we start for the last forever, we've muddied the waters of cryptozoology with things like Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster and different other creatures that have no basis in the animal kingdom or any of the such. They
yeah,
seem to be more in line with ufology or the paranormal
paranormal.
worlds,
Mm-hmm.
like the ghost dogs or hellhounds, things like that. Those don't seem to be a creature that we're ever going to be able to catch. um
Whereas Black Panthers, yes,
yeah,
cryptid.
right. Black Panthers,
Chupacabra,
cryptid, big,
Chupacabra, the Mexican Chupacabra or Texas,
yeah.
sorry, Texas Chupacabra, more cryptid.
Whereas the
So
Puerto Rican chupacabra
not
is
so
UFO.
cryptid. Yeah. So that's what's happened, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying about we got to watch these labels because they really can mess things up in a classification kind of way. I think that you're dealing with like when you were talking about Mothman, things like that, Linda. That's more something like non-human intelligence of some sort. We just don't know what that is.
So Sarah Ramsey says, anyone that has a box and tries to put everything in that one box, regardless of if it fits, I cannot walk with. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
understand that.
100%.
It might not be that necessarily I won't be able to walk with them, but I'll at least try to stick a little letter out there somewhere saying, hey, these
What if?
things aren't mutually
Yeah.
exclusive. We can
Mm-hmm.
separate some of this stuff out and look at it. Pat made it. What's going on, buddy?
Yay.
Um,
Yeah.
Larry
Yeah.
Potter says, who's moving, us or them? I think that was in regards to the wormhole comment. Who knows? um,
Well,
it,
that's the
it
whole
could be
point.
it could be a little of both.
Yeah, we don't know. When you're talking about things like that, mathematical, computations that have to take place to do that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is just phenomenal if you think about it.
Finding the trackway says mathematically subspaces exist, and it's a huge part of what makes PC work. Let's see what else we got. We have Black Panthers here in the valley from Anita.
Yeah.
Then Linda Sigmund says right. So yeah, basically in short, no, we don't believe that all the cryptids are related or come from one thing, but there are some that seem to be of other nature. Again, your Dogman's, Mothman, Flatwoods Monster, any of these Hopkinsville goblins.
Anything that's going to be able to change shape or change physical form
Yeah.
or be perceived as such or manipulate you by,
Or
psychic,
or Momo,
abilities.
because UFOs.
Well, yeah. Or, yeah, exactly. I think that those fall into the category of non-human
And
intelligence.
apparently Pat is a cat when it comes to boxes. If I fits, I sits.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Anita says, I may have to jump off, battery's low, but I'll try to come back using the PC. You better.
You better. You're going to miss some stuff.
Yeah. Then Tommy says, if the universe is just a bunch of ones and zeros, then a bunch more of the ones and zeros would probably break the code between dimensions. Just put a 2 in the middle. If it were that
That's
easy.
funny, man. That's
I
funny.
mean, once we figure it out, it probably is going to be something to be that easy.
Well,
Um,
I mean, my thought is
two
this.
Larrys in the same chat. Talk about a Rosenbridge connection here.
That's
We've
weird.
we've got two Larrys in the chat. We're about to fold the universe in on itself.
I think so. So, I think if we're going to look at these things, um, this non-human intelligence, whatever they want to call it, they end up calling this stuff. I think that's fair. I think that's a good term because I've said this before. It doesn't matter if they land on the White House lawn and tell us who they are. How do we know that? How do we believe that? What? That's going to be a very interesting day if that ever happens, and that's why I don't think it will. Um, I think we've had this conversation before. I'm like, what? We can look at all these legends, especially since we were doing the thing there with Reverend Carter.
Yeah.
We can look at all those legends. We can look at all that, all that dogma, all that lore that's spread throughout the centuries and, millennia, really, on some of these things. There's something there. And it seems to be multiple. There seems to be multiple things going on. And again, there's these mutterings of you got the one people on the one side's like everything was created, and humans were created, and all this, and then others, well, they evolved. Well, what does that even matter? Because there's something inside of us that's obviously capable of interaction with whatever this is. We're compatible with whatever this is.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not compatible with a dog. I'm not compatible with a cat. But I'm compatible with this. If we go out and discover a new planet, what are the chances that we will be compatible with anything on that planet in the first place? You have to think about that.
Yeah.
So those are those who believe, that beings came here in the ancient past and they settled here, and they saw, I guess, these people, and they were like, they go down here and they interbreed with these people. Well, my question is, how can you do that? Because theoretically you can't unless you're the same species.
Unless you're close enough in the genus.
So if we are close enough in the genus, how did that happen? See, there's a lot more questions that this really raises more
It does.
than it answers. Because you get into that whole, well, there had to be a source at some point.
Eyes in the Woods says, I love collecting theories on all of this. There's a theory, that we are manifesting them based on the number of people stewing on the creature.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's your egregores. We talked about that before.
Yeah, it's not the tulpa, it's the other one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically like a psychic. There's a psychical power, and it just manifests them because there's so many people thinking about it. Then Sarah says 2 Larrys don't make her right. Oh, man. The common thread in all of this is deception. That's correct.
Right. But here's the question, Oz, and this is a very valid question. It's the deception part that makes everyone not trust what's going on here.
Yeah.
Could the deception thing be for our own good? This is what needs to be thought about. And I don't think anyone's thinking about that. All they're seeing is, we have the right to know. We have the right to know. What if you don't? What if by knowing you essentially just, well, gigs up, we got to restart it all? What if by knowing we're the ones who literally cause that? That's a possibility. It can't be denied.
Could be. I mean, when you look at the Tower of Babel and what happened there.
Not even that. Not even that.
You
don't have
know?
to look back that far. You don't have to look back that far. Look back to Mesoamerica.
Yeah.
Look back at what happened when the Spaniards came.
Right.
This has all happened before, multiple times, you see. And there's just so many different ways that it's happened. And if we get back into, the possible millions of years, we don't even know,
Right. Pat says everything goes on the table, even interstellar Wookiee creatures in the woods. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, we do look at that.
We sure do.
Watch the episode on the Nitro War Museum tonight. Pretty interesting. I'm going to plan a trip there. It looks pretty interesting. Yeah, when you head down there, give us a shout. We'll meet up with you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got some cool stuff in there.
Finding the Trackway says a UFO lands at the White House. 3 aliens hop out. They introduce themselves. Ha, Larry. And I'm Larry. And this is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
That's good.
That's a good one. That is a classic.
That's a classic right there.
Tommy, haven't heard of that. I guess. I'm assuming Tommy, Eisen was just talking about the War Museum.
Yeah.
We've got a video up on that. If you go into our YouTube channel, we did an investigation there. Sarah Ramsey was there actually too.
Yep, it's on the investigation series.
That was actually where I met Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Potter says we might just be seeing the tip of the iceberg, and I don't think there's a
Yes.
might there. I think
There's no mites.
that is all we are getting is the
We're,
tip of the
we
iceberg,
might,
and the
I
very
mean,
very tip.
I'll go with this. I'll even say this much. We might not even be seeing the tip. We might just be seeing the wake of the iceberg that's right under the surface. You know, that I've said that multiple times. Sometimes I don't think we're looking at the boat. We're just seeing the
Yeah.
waves the boat's making.
Synchronicity alert. I was driving down the road in 2012 before I believed in any and all of this. Sudden, I had this thought that this was all a game. As soon as we learned that it would be reset. I mean, that is how the game works, though.
It is how.
So everybody who just thought about the game lost.
Yeah.
You have to be a certain age to get that one. But
but no, seriously. I mean, we do have to think about that. And what could that mean? Could it mean that? Well, all right, let's just go off in speculation because don't get to do that too much on the show, so we can do that here.
yeah,
What if we have a situation to where a treaty was signed, so to speak, ages ago? A treaty was signed between two people on a condition. They can remain here and do whatever they need to do, but the condition is the beings that they are working with can never know exactly who they are, because if they did, well then all literal crap could break loose, and who knows what could happen there. I mean, have you ever thought about a monkey with an atom bomb? I mean, it's kind of that same analogy is what I'm getting at.
yeah.
Some of this technology falls into hands that aren't ready for it. And we are talking about technology, by the way, that I believe can amplify thought. Just going to throw that out there. Thought, emotion, all that. And if that's the case, let's think back about what was the legend, the Egyptian legend, the chair. Remember the chair, the chair of the creation, where one of the gods could sit in the chair, and whatever they thought about, it would manifest. It would be. What if that kind of power fell into our hands right now? Do you really think we're ready for that kind of power?
I mean, I know that I'm not, because I would turn into a comic book villain.
You would. But that's my whole
like
point.
flat out, I'm
That's my
Doctor
whole
Doom.
point.
That happens, I'm Doctor Doom.
That's my whole point. So that is my whole point. In order to be ready for that, there would have to be an entire planet full of people with no thoughts whatsoever of what you just said. Do you honestly think that that is possible right now in this space and time? It's not. So there's this theory. You guys heard of the TR3B, right?
It's a TR3B. That's a TR3B.
Okay, yeah, you heard of it.
Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, the name is based off of Tier 3 technology, which is a very advanced technology. One of the allegations was that this stuff was so advanced that if one of these vehicles ever crashed in one of these other countries, that the only option was to go in and turn that country to glass. Now you want to think about that for a second. Think about that and put it back into a different perspective now.
Yeah.
Why do you think they want to do that? Because that technology is it's a game changer.
Right.
Whatever it is, it's a game changer.
And speaking of that, Oz says there's a rumor in the UAP community that the UAP tech is being engineered for a supersonic missile that would be in Russia or China in 2 minutes. We're not ready for this.
That's been going on for
the Cold War.
3 years. 3 years they started talking about that. And yeah,
well,
you're
at 3
right.
years, China had their supersonic missile.
3 years that's been talked about. So that's again, we also have to realize that. And I know there are those who say, nothing's going to save us. I agree. But I don't think that they're going to just step in and do that. But I do think that they would step in and save an asset.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Bob Lazar once said that our bodies are just vessels for aliens to keep us on a leash, whatever
No,
he meant by that.
he
He
didn't.
did say that in an old 1980s interview.
He read that in a
It was on a
document
document.
that was put in front of him. He was never allowed to take the document out of the room, and it was very thick. I remember him talking about that. What?
Ashley said, "Did y'all see the Mothman was on Jeopardy last night?" No, I'm not
No.
old enough to watch Jeopardy.
Oh, whatever. No. Why was Mothman on Jeopardy? That's awesome. But
Well, clearly there was a bridge that needed collapsing, Ron.
oh God. But yeah. Anyway, the
Y'all,
vessel
we
thing.
really sit on that fence.
The vessel thing. Let's look at that a little bit.
Would you take the red pill or the blue pill?
I think I've already taken them both. Here's the thing, and you are right, by the way, Finding Trackway. That is exactly where we are with this. Suppose that whole vessel thing, that's just someone's interpretation of how to try to understand this, right? Suppose this is a hypothetical thing, but let's go to that whole creation thing again. Let's revisit that. Let's say that there is a situation where us, have evolved to a point to where we can emulate ourselves, right? We can emulate ourselves, but we can make ourselves even better, make ourselves even stronger and smarter. We can do things that we can't do in our physical body. Now, this is kind of what's happening with AI right now with us. But what if the technology was more powerful than that? A lot more powerful than that. And that it allowed us to literally transfer this data wirelessly through the air, what we call metaphysically now. If you think about that, really think about that, you're kind of describing the soul. It's a energy source that could possibly be those ones and zeros that Tommy was talking about. And then you get into this whole, the whole world of the metaphysics where we're talking about the Akashic record and all this. Think about it, man. That could be exactly what you're dealing with, that we are someone's achievement. That's not a bad thing, by the way. I'm not looking at it as a bad thing. What I'm looking at it as is, if we are someone's achievement, then we have to do better.
Yeah.
Because we clearly are not doing good. And I don't think that that's what our purpose was, is what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to preach to anyone. I'm not trying to change your views on anything. I'm trying not to say as much as I can, because it is personal. This is all personal stuff. We're conjecturing, we're theorizing right now. I'm just saying we have to look at those kind of things because that's where we're going with this. Those are the thoughts and those are the discussions we're going to have over the next couple of years.
Yeah, it's that just is part of the whole point of looking at things objectively. You know, we've got to be objective. We have to be able to look at things and be open to other interpretations and open to other possibilities than what our preconceived notions are holding. Oz in the Wood says some other theories are that all of the chaos right now is being manufactured to distract us from learning about the power of consciousness.
Yeah. Well, one of the best things is that no one even knows what consciousness is.
Right.
You know that, right? I mean, no one knows what that is.
There's really no definition for it.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously a Stanford and Oxford and
but there's no
what's the other one? Merriam-Webster definition for consciousness, but we don't understand what consciousness is because we can't grasp it.
We don't know how it works. There's too many levels to it, and that's where a lot of the parapsychology comes in. Yes.
So we're dealing again, like before, when Ron was off the air there for a minute. We're dealing with technology that is beyond our capacity, beyond our understanding. We're dealing with stuff that is both physical and objects that are non-physical, because you can't take a fourth dimensional craft and put it on a flatbed truck and drive it off.
That's right.
It's not going to happen.
If you live in a fourth dimensional world, you cannot do that, can you?
Right.
What
You
do you
can't.
have to have, Joe?
You would have to have technology, or you would have to have something that would shift you into that higher dimension, which would then take you out of this one. So it would just be moot. So we're dealing with something that is not from here, regardless of where we put it, whether, we've got some stuff that seems to be located within our dimension. We've got stuff that is not. Are they at war with each other? Is that what this is? Is one's technology so far advanced that they can peer into the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension things are like, get back in where you belong? What's really going on? We don't know. That's conjecture. But
conjecture.
There's no way that we could haul off technology,
No, there isn't.
That's not from this dimension.
Well, I'll give you one.
And there's no way we could haul off biologics that's not from this dimension.
No, you can't. And I'll give you one talking about hauling off. You remember the story? It was last year, I believe it was, where one of the guys was talking about he was present when they were trying to dismantle this big craft.
Yeah.
And they hooked onto it and they pulled it. And when he pulled it, it split apart like a pie, he said. And when it split apart like a pie, it opened it up. And when he went into the opening, he said it was as big as several football fields inside. He got disoriented because he said that there was a time fluctuation. When he came back out, he was only in there for a few minutes. When he came back out, 4 hours had passed. That's the kind of technology that you're dealing with. That doesn't even sound real. That sounds like something out of science fiction. That's Doctor Who stuff. That's TARDIS right there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as big as a football field inside, but it's only a small little pie wedge that you pulled out of this craft?
Yeah.
No, that's weird.
Tommy Swigger says, I think the reptilians are government and Greys are controlling civilians.
Nah, the Greys are cool, man.
I think we're dealing with terminology and they could all be the same. I mean,
no, for real.
Who's to say one's one and the other's another?
We are dealing with, yes, Joe, go ahead, say it, the perception thing.
We're dealing with stuff that we don't understand. We're dealing with these terminologies that have been put out there by people who are professional soccer players and not people who are actually like in the field or even into science at all. But
you just brought up something about whatever that triggered something in my head. Who was the guy, the sports guy who was
Ike?
Was seeing the Hat Man after?
The guy from the Green Bay Packers, Roger. Yeah. What's his last name? Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So the hat in alone itself. This kind of shows that if there's really something there that's going on, right? Then there are ways to open up those so-called gateways. And that is possibly one of those ways that they did it.
Yeah.
The Madison Institute tapes.
Yep. Listen to the Madison Institute tapes and had the weirdest OBE lucid dream that involved people laughing at me and mocking me. I felt like I was strapped to a rocket, not what I was expecting. Julie Bug jumped in. Julie's
back.
She made it.
Yes.
Pat says, y'all need a conjecture speculation banner to put on the screen when you guys are talking about this stuff. Yeah, we do. We need a disclaimer.
I don't know. The numbers just keep going up over there, Pat. I'm just
right.
I think some people really actually enjoy this topic. It's just that it's a hard one to have. And, like I said, who knows?
Sarah Ramsey says, have anybody seen a predator type entity asking for a friend? Now, when you say predator type entity, are you talking about the transparent, invisible thing moving around? Or are you talking about something that when it took off its mask, it went, which one? Because there is a phenomena called the Glimmer Man, where these people have had these sightings of this entity that was described as being able to move through the forest like the predator, and you could make out the shape because it was just distorting the background behind it and projecting it forward. But as far as an alien like the predator, I can't say that I've heard of anybody.
I don't want to.
I don't either, because my skull would get ripped from my body and
Yeah,
attached to its belt.
I don't want to do that.
Aaron Rodgers was seeing Hat Man. Yeah, the shadow type. He did some DMT and
Yeah.
then
He
started
did
having
ayahuasca.
experiences with
Yeah.
the paranormal and
After
unseen.
that, he saw him everywhere pretty much
Yeah.
for a while, from what I understand. Even when he, like, kind of like, yep, there he is. But what that
Yeah.
is it opens that part of your brain.
Mm-hmm. It does. And there's been tons of research done into that.
And it's not just that, guys. That's not just it. Any kind of metaphysical practice, if you're in tune enough, that's a thought. And even Gary Nolan said that.
Yeah.
He thought that certain people, what was it he said? 1 out of 100 people is what his study had showed, had the ability to perceive these things, whereas others didn't. I find that fascinating, because I believe that there's 1 out of 100. That one person out of 100 is the one who took time to kind of develop their brain. I think we all can do it. I think it's part of us. I think we have that ability.
And that goes back to stuff that I used to teach.
Yeah.
Is that, you've got one person up here teaching it. That might be your 1 out of 100, but we can teach you how to do this too.
Well, they did.
But Sarah says, yes, the glimmer type. Yeah, look into the glimmer man phenomena, Sarah. You're going to see a bunch of misinformation, but there are some accounts and some reports where you can look those reports up and listen to what was said.
Yeah, read between the lines.
Why would it bolt when it realizes you see it? Are you not supposed to? That would be the whole point of an active camouflage, is to remain hidden. And once it realizes it's made, I would understand why it would.
Mm-hmm. We don't know. That could be exactly what that is. And, we've talked about, when we started our whole thing.
Tommy says, wow, keep it, Sarah. I don't want to see that.
Yeah. When we started our whole thing there, when we started talking about the radiation and stuff, remember that back in 2020, whatever it was. I think it was 2020, wasn't it? Is that when we did it?
It was 2020.
So when we did that, and, and then we repeated it, I believe at, is it Wineberry? We repeated that little bit.
Repeated it first at Wineberry and then in Logan.
Mm-hmm. And then I started thinking, wait a minute now. Well, it was at Wineberry when I got the idea. I was like, we need to tell others.
Yeah.
We need to reach out to tell our friends who are out there investigating, get a dosimeter, because there's a possibility that there's radiation out there. It's out there. Well, something's causing that radiation, guys. It's not just occurring naturally. That's not natural. And then, you have to ask yourself again, and no disclaimer here, Patrick, I don't know where it's at, but you have to ask yourself, I just did it too. You have to ask yourself.
Here's the disclaimer.
There you go.
Everybody out there.
Yeah, please do. We always forget. We're terrible. I don't know how we have this many people. I really
I
don't,
know, right? We're the worst at self-promotion.
Yeah, we always forget to tell you guys, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff.
Yeah, Dewey's normally the one out in the comments, like and share, getting on all y'all.
I know. It's just like, I cannot remember to do that. So we do. We have to ask ourselves if those are portals, or if they're devices that generate portals. That makes more sense to me, rather than a portal that just pops up. Because I know that's a theory too, that some say, that these things are just, they pop up. But what if it's a technology that does that? And if so, that's the radiation that we're kind of picking up out there. Well, that can be kind of dangerous. And that's why it's kind of important, like I said, for some of these researchers who go out there and do that stuff to be careful. I know that we had an incident at, it was with Unseen. They had went out and got a dosimeter. They went out and got a little Geiger counter.
Yeah.
And they were using it in an investigation during an EVP and asked something to raise the Geiger counter. So that's raising the radiation. And it
This is
happened.
the opposite of what you want
You
to
don't
happen.
want this. And I told him, don't you ever do that again. But that's amazing data. But don't
Yeah.
you ever do that again. The interesting thing is, a couple of them did get sick after that investigation. They did have issues. There was one who got sick to her stomach. There was another one,
Yeah.
headaches. Don't do that. But the question that I had when I saw that data was, how could that even be? Because you're talking about that's that's ionizing radiation. What in the world can raise ionizing radiation other than radioactive isotopes? And why was there radioactive isotopes in conjunction with an EVP session in a house?
Yeah, nothing. That's the answer. Nothing should be able to do that, but it is, and somehow it's able to manipulate that, and that is concerning.
That's concerning. And that's where we
So
get into our issues.
it does, because it raises more questions than it even remotely comes close to answering, because radiation is dangerous.
Yes. Even little amounts over periods of time add up.
Yeah, because it doesn't like just go away. you
Yep.
know, um, so you're dealing with something that can manipulate our radiation field, which is no bueno. But yeah, so if you got anyway, don't ask something to do that.
Yeah, never do that. Never,
Don't.
ever, ever do that.
Unless you want to get Barney healed, don't do it.
Don't do that.
So Tommy Swigert says, my wife asked me the other night if, since she's seeing more paranormal things lately, is it connected with all the disclosure stuff that's happening? Like more people are thinking about it.
No, you mean because you're thinking about it,
Yeah,
then
because
it's
there's more people.
manifesting it, so to speak, the egregore phenomena.
Yeah.
I mean, anything's possible, but we said like what 2 years ago that paranormal activity was on the rise. We thought it
Yep.
was on the rise, and I've talked to Stan Gordon there not too long ago, and he said that in his
The same
opinion,
thing.
the same thing. There's been a lot more cases. Things have definitely upticked, as he likes to say it. He'll be back in February, by the way, for an episode where we're going to be talking about some of this stuff and the current state of things. So just to mark that on your calendar, it's going to happen.
So in reference to that cloaked
The
entity,
thing, yeah.
Sarah says it actually ticked me off. Felt like it was spying, like reconnaissance of some type. I've seen other things and I've never felt like this. Yeah,
Wow,
it does. A lot of people have that same kind of feeling. It's
that's
these
weird.
entities have mostly been seen by hunters out in the wood, and they've been seen by people who like you live out in a brushy area as well, and they all kind of say the same thing. It's like it was watching them, and then once they noticed it, that's when it starts to.
Well, it's like a distortion in space,
Yeah,
right? That's what we're
right.
talking about.
Oh yeah, like the Predator from the night.
Yeah,
Everybody's
distortion.
seen at least that
Yeah.
just silhouette of transparency for in the movie anyway. Um, Tommy says, does it become normal? And that is our job. As ambassadors of the paranormal, we have been trying to normalize the paranormal for years now. And it, for some people,
Yeah.
is starting to become normal. Does that answer any questions? Probably not. It raises more.
No, but we're
But
having these conversations now, and before people were thought we were nuts.
yeah.
So that's progress.
Then Finding the Trackway says, wait, you've seen it too? Finding the Trackway did mention a few times above that they had seen this glimmer entity.
Mm-hmm.
So you two might want to compare notes.
Definitely.
Tommy, people I know have never picked up on things are doing it so now. It's blowing their mind. I think it's some type of shift. And there is definitely something going on. And
Oh
like
yeah.
Ron said, we did predict that this activity was gonna go up, that it was gonna become more evident that there's something going on,
Yeah.
and it was just a guess. So it was a guess based off of research.
It's a guess based off of increasing data sets,
Yeah.
and the data is pointing us in some very interesting categories, and that's why we're having this discussion that we're having tonight. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is not theory or conjecture. These are things that you will be hearing about over the next month or so. And there's going to be a lot of people saying a lot of things, and we are going to get so much confusion that it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So just be prepared for it. I just want you guys to understand that that is going to happen, and a lot of the confusion is going to be coming from misinterpretations on social media.
Yeah.
It's going to be coming from the Twitterverse and the TikTokers who are out there trying to get a billion likes and some clicks, and they don't know what they're talking about. A quarter of
Yep.
them do not know what they're talking
But
about.
they're out there and it gets some views.
They get some views.
And the more outlandish their claim, the more views they're going to get.
Exactly.
So Linda says it's all energy. We're all
Yes.
energy. They have learned
Yes.
and evolved
Yes.
to affect it.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it's a possibility.
Yes. That's what I think too. Um, we are energy. At least a part of us is. That's what we were talking about. This part isn't, but we are energy. Yes.
Has anyone noticed activity in areas where magnetic anomalies are? Cell towers, microwave towers. I know magnetic anomalies are attributed to UAP,
Yes.
and I live in an area with magnetic anomalies. Yeah, we've noticed that. We brought it up. We had a show a few years back. I think it's audio only, where we actually talked about that. The region that Ron and I live in is actually a major anomaly because we have a negative magnetic pole where everything else around us is the opposite. So it's a very unique area. But it tends to from my opinion, again, my opinion, it seems more to deal with things of less natural origin that are in those areas
Mm-hmm.
that seem to spike up and have some kind of reaction towards those anomalies. Pat says radiation can delete parts of your DNA. Less exposure is better.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sarah says yes, distortion is a good way to explain it. Deucer says the veil is getting thinner. Then Finding the Trackway says yes, it is a distortion. That's what I call it. Then Julie agrees with the Deucer. Sarah Ramsey, yes, a bag of water, but human shaped. Arms like, yeah, just like the Predator. Yep.
Yeah.
That is what a lot of people describe.
Yeah.
And there was even on this was back in the early 2000s. I was in high school when I watched this, but there was a suit that was being worn and developed by the military, and it was just highly impractical because of the power pack you had to wear, which move it fast forward to now, it would probably be a much smaller battery pack. But it essentially had cameras all over the rear of the suit and screens and mirrors and such on the front that it would transport the data from the front forward. And they were using it to mask things like vehicles. It didn't work as well on people, but it created a really eerie effect similar to the Predator. But that technology would have to have come from somewhere, or the idea from somewhere, probably the Predator. But it was ineffective at the human form. Tommy Swigger says it's normal for me, but for her it's not so much. She's a human battery drainer. Anything electronic with batteries she touches, the batteries go dead. Yeah, that's me. I have to always have a rubber or wooden cell phone case on my phone, because if it comes in direct contact with my skin, I'll burn the battery up. I don't wear watches for the same reason, because I'll destroy batteries. Even Eco Drive batteries that are like movement charged, they don't last.
People have too much iron or so in their blood.
Yeah. I have really, really hot iron, and I'm supposed to bloodlet because my blood's thick.
Basically, you're a battery. You're cutting the magnetic field as you circulate.
Yep.
It's very strange.
Finally, Trackway says, I watched it for 10, 15 minutes from a tree stand hunting. See, it's another, like I said, most of these stories are coming from hunters. Linda says, we're always bombarded by waves from cell towers, etc. I feel its effects in our third eye, thus opening it.
It affects a lot of things. And it's everywhere. I mean, all you got to do is turn on the spectrum analyzer and you can see it. It's
you can visibly see it all.
Those decibel readings are pretty high. They're up to like 60 decibels. If that was sound, you would hear that.
If that was sound, you'd be on the floor.
You know, I mean, 120 is a jet engine, I think, something
Yeah,
like that. If that gives you an idea, and that's how much radiation. It's electronic smog is what it's called,
yeah.
and it's everywhere. And yeah, it affects everything. Linda, I agree.
Ada Cox says, absolutely, Dewey. It's getting thin in reference to the veil. Uh, Sarah says it was the end of my hallway this week.
Mm,
Inside. That's different.
that's just yeah, that's
I haven't
interesting.
heard of anybody having those encounters in their home.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a good one, Dewey.
It's
You need
good,
that on
dude.
a shirt.
Dude, yeah,
Swag, scientific, wild guess. Yes, I bleeped
yeah,
myself out. You're welcome, children.
yeah. That's pretty good.
Man, the comments we got a lot of comments going.
Yeah, yeah.
Larry
Keep.
Potter says these distortions are on purpose or a result of bleeding into this reality or dimension.
That's
That
great.
is a very good
That's a
question because
great
that's
question.
something that I've thought quite often.
That's a great question. Extremely great question. And I think that that's also where some of that residual radiation comes from.
Abbott Hoffman, you're new. Thanks for joining us.
Abbott,
Orcas
welcome.
hate Wi-Fi on boats. Yes, yes, they do. I have heard that from more than one source. Chromosome damage.
Really?
I've not seen, but maybe. Like I'd just see the paperwork and we,
Yeah.
So then Oz says, I was a strict materialist until 2014, then been doing deep dive for the last 3 years. I have lots of footage. Thank God for finding people online who have experiences.
Same.
It's kept me sane.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole purpose.
Then it's possible that our junk DNA is perhaps not junk at all, and now somehow we are now being activated.
I don't like the term junk DNA, do you?
Yeah, it doesn't, like, I know it's like just what they call it, but you know. Finding the track, he says, I lost track of it, and then it appeared in front of me and was walking away. Tommy says, have you guys ever noticed or marked down if any of your investigations of paranormal or cryptid phenomena have been in ley lines, and do you believe that they have more energy? Yeah, we actually do reference that from
To a
time to
degree.
time.
Yeah, to a degree.
We'll look at ley line maps, and
Mounds, stuff like that.
yeah, you'll see some of those things with that phenomena, but I've not had very much congruency or lineup with cryptid sightings, believe it or not. Abbott Hoffman, Xenobot black squids from
Graphene
I
oxide.
can't graphene oxide. Most don't reject.
Don't reject.
Mostly words that I don't
learning-
understand.
We're learning something new. I like that.
If this is one of those like moments where I just look and say, if you can swim, there's potatoes. Like, because that's where I landed on that one.
No.
Battery drainer is a hereditary trait. Yeah, specifically mine because it's a syndrome. It's a liver condition. And Deucer says, I guess Joe wearing hearing aids in the future is out of the question. Yeah, I'd burn them up. Luckily, I have some diminished hearing in my right ear because when I was a sheet metal fabricator, I'd lean in. I'm right-handed, so I'd lean in and put my weight on the riveting gun. So that would, but I always wore like double hearing protection. So it's not as bad, but this ear hears slightly less than this ear. That's recognizable now at this age. Military uses LRADs to disable cryptids. Okay. I guess we're going with blanket statements instead of supporting evidence.
No, that I'd like to know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. Supporting evidence. Then let's see. A Harway is nowhere near nowhere anyone wants to be. Now, see, this goes into one of those questions, Sarah, and I know you've read our report before because you've had to go and file a report in the past. There are, and this was one of the things, are there areas in your home that make you feel weird, strange, or uncomfortable? This would fall under one of those, and you should probably reach out to us again to look at this. Ron, write that down so we can get a hold of her and we don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2024 is going to be a big year. Hold on to your poop log, people.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right, Oz.
hold on to the cockatiel.
You're right. I think you're right. I've been saying that for a few weeks now.
Linda Sigmund says, I've had a Bigfoot in my bedroom. I think that would fall under the other category,
Uh huh.
personally.
Uh huh.
That is, I think that fall because we've
For
got
real. Think
these.
about this. Think about this, Linda. For real. Not diminishing what you're saying in any way,
Right.
but think about this. That whole perception thing. If I'm as powerful as I possibly can be, I can make you see in just about anything and make you experience just about anything. So that's interesting. I don't doubt something was there though.
Yeah, it is one of those things where when we go away when sorry guys, I've got to do a thing on a phone real quick. Um, we don't dismiss any of those sightings. They're credible. We look at them and we do categorize them differently. We've got this the Bigfoot creature that behaves very naturally and normal, and then you have this one that, like you said, can appear in your bedroom without ripping the walls apart. And that tends to be a very different entity, because those they're seen with often in the woods. You'll see them, and then they're accompanied by orbs, or you'll see other UAP phenomena shortly after. And so that's what we've got, two different compartments that we put the Bigfoot reports in, and that's where I think personally, again, this is not discrediting it, but that is a perception thing, and it's very possible that this could have been a screen image as well, because we've talked about these in past episodes where these encounters that are had, the subject might not be prepared to see what they're going to see, so this image is placed into their mind so it doesn't completely shatter your brain. And typically these images are implanted psychically, and they're using something that they know you're okay with, like an owl, a deer. And you who've done Bigfoot research and had Bigfoot sightings are like, oh, well, this is an easy one. She's okay with these. She's into this phenomena. This won't be strange to her. She'll be like, oh, this is cool. And we're going to show up like this. It's very possible. Now, again, not discounting what you saw at all, but that to me falls into the secondary category of what we classify Bigfoot as.
Well, there.
Linda says it knocked on all four walls and ended up downstairs throwing rocks in my bedroom door from the outside. Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
It definitely for me still falls into that secondary, the other the subject B category.
It's a subject B 100% because of her past experiences, and that'd be like me. Like if I'm in there and I see something that shouldn't be there. I don't know. I don't want to say its name, but like a puppy dude appears in the house or something, right? I mean, I know that that's not really there. I know that that is something that's subject B. That's not a physical thing because it didn't walk through the door. It didn't open the door. It just appeared in the area. If something can do that, then it's not a physical. It's not a physical thing.
Right.
So that would fall under subject B. Subject A is more flesh and blood. That's how we kind of categorize things, if that helps make any sense. It's where we need more words.
Man, these comments are blowing up.
Keep them going, guys. Y'all gonna break some records tonight.
Abbott Hoffman says just dropping off gems to research. Too much to explain. Hey, get a hold of us privately. We've got time.
Please. Send links, many.
Yeah. Then let's see. Tommy says, I switched to YouTube channel about Bigfoot's getting a woman pregnant the other day. Boy, was her husband mad. Got to watch part 2.
Oh, gosh.
Jerry.
Oh, gosh.
Then Anita says, guess who's in the chat house? You made it on here on the
Anita?
YouTube side, Anita.
Wow.
We're
I'm
proud of
impressed.
you.
That's amazing. How did you do that?
You made it. I guess her phone finally died, so she had to get it off the laptop. Ashley says, I definitely subscribe to the idea of flesh and blood and something else. Yeah, that's where we're at too.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you really have to.
Because otherwise, like,
The data just points that way.
yeah,
If
it
not,
does. You
you've got
can't not walk through the Bigfoot research community and hear these compelling reports from people
Oh, yeah.
and
Amazing
just be like, sorry, you're bat nuts.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
they are.
like,
They're doing that.
and when you compare it with other data and you start looking, you have to look at it from a different angle and say, all right, I'm going to look at this from not a Bigfoot angle. I'm going to look at this from this. And then you start comparing notes to UFO experiencers. And all of a sudden,
That makes
all of
sense.
it lines up and you're like,
That's interesting.
that's interesting. This
Yeah.
is a new compartment. and you know, we've garnered a lot of respect for taking that stance.
Yeah.
Because so many in the community are staunchly, it's one or the other. It can't be that there's two different things going on.
They won't talk about it.
Pat says, if a puppy dude appeared in my house, then subject C is going to appear in my pants. Is that caca?
I believe it is.
Is
I believe
the
it
poo log?
I believe it is. Cockatiel.
Oh, man. Linda said it lasted from 6 p.m. to
Oh,
3
my.
a.m., a night of banging and pounding poltergeist. RSPK,
See?
I mean, it could be.
RSPK, yeah. Recurrent
Yep.
spontaneous psychokinesis. You're an incredibly, I know, Linda, you are an incredibly attuned individual. I would say that. I would say powerful, but attuned is the better word. So you are more susceptible to these things. And could you possibly even be projecting something that attracts that kind of? Yeah, absolutely could be.
So Abbott Hoffman says Ontario Sasquatch says his friend Sasquatch, I can't pronounce it, drops marbles in his beer out of nowhere.
Hey, that's yeah.
You know,
April.
that falls under
April.
subject B 100%. And I've actually tried to have a conversation. It's been years ago with Ontario Sasquatch. And the moment that I suggested anything contrary to what they were saying, the whole conversation went south. I abandoned ship.
I get it. I mean, that's what we don't do. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm not
why-
gonna, like, we don't sit and argue. Like, let's talk about this. Let's look. Let's examine what's going on. I'm not saying that you're not having these experiences. Let's examine.
I want to see the data.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if it's strange data, I still want to see it because that's, I mean, come on. Some of the stuff we've got out there, how do you explain it?
Okay, brain lock up there. Finding the trackway. Just have you tried turning it off and restarting?
Reboot that thing. Turn it off for 30 seconds. Count for 30 seconds.
Then Anita says everything has both a corporeal and non-corporeal side. But usually when they separated, one of them quit existing. Usually.
Not always. Not
Just as I
always.
said, usually. That leaves an open end for something.
Oh, yeah.
Then Linda says, thank you. What's everyone's opinion on the Ghost app that uses AI to generate a picture that's supposed to be influenced by a spirit? Real, fake, or on the fence? Well, it's
Not
AI,
even- not
but
even
we
on
do
the
have all
fence.
this other technology that can be used. But how influential is the spirit on the AI that is already pre-programmed to do a thing?
Ghosts in the machine. Literally.
Yep. That's just like, if there was an AI that could do that completely unprompted, then I'd be intrigued. But there seems to be, with these apps, there's like a prompt that causes something to go on. And when you've got like a prompt like that, it's a written code. Ashley Hill says it's like doppelgangers. And she even put the little the accents in there.
How'd she do that? She's magical.
Do
She's
you
a
hold the
witch.
button on your
She's a
phone?
witch.
She is. Let's see if she floats or a duck floats. Does she float like a duck?
But if she gives me donuts, she's off the
Oh.
hook. That's how the new
So
one works.
it's like doppelgangers. We have ourselves, a flesh and blood being, and then our doppelganger, which are likely some sort of physical being, or a halfling that stole some of your organs
Well,
and left you in a tub of ice.
That's not cool.
Oh wait, that's the mafia, not
Yeah,
Irish
that's not
halflings
cool. That's
or
not-
changelings.
Yeah, not the same thing.
Anita says you can either laugh or cry. I prefer laughing.
Exactly.
Then let's see. Linda said, "Yep, I do. Am thanks for being kind. Absolutely." Abbott says, "Cry now, laugh later." Thanks, Jesus.
I think that's a song. Hang on a second. I'm writing that down.
Abbott,
I-
thanks for hanging out in the
I
chat.
am
We're
writing that
glad you're
down.
here.
I'll give you credit for it. That's a good one.
And like when earlier when I was saying like seriously reach out to us, we have time like that. I'm not being facetious. Reach out to us. Like we literally would love to chat. Tommy says, Sarah, some phone apps are okay with SLS, but not much else. At least on and I agree with Tommy. The phone apps would be okay with SLS, but some of that stuff is just real sketchy. Finding the Trackway says, as a researcher, I believe it's my duty to leave preconceived notions at the door and bring back whatever you find, no matter how logical, illogical, or extraordinary it may be. Absolutely.
That's how you should be. That's how
Hey,
you
it
should
worked.
be.
He did. He rebooted.
And it worked. Look at that. Boosh. It's amazing.
Abbott says, eat meat, spit the bones. Absolutely. Exactly. Then let's see, trying to get to the
Wow. How are you keeping up? Because man.
Oh, I'm speed reading and I'm grabbing the stuff that is like, and it's no offense to anybody that's in the chat. Like I'm trying to pay
Good
attention to who's talking to
gosh.
who,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come over and help
because
you
there's
with that.
conversations in the chat as
That's
well.
awesome.
So Anita Allen said, when I worked with VABRO, I was told to toss any reports that involved the woo-woo animal reports, only where the chances were my first experience was exactly that. Like Anita and I spoke about this, I think it was last week, right, Anita? Where she was telling me that when she was with the VABRO, she was told to just whitewash any of the reports, get rid of them, don't take them, ignore them, only take flesh and blood reports. But then her first actual encounter in the woods was what would be considered woo by the flesh and blood community.
That's a derogatory term that we don't use, by the way.
Yeah,
So
and
let's
she's
state
still
that.
used by the VBRO to
Yeah.
go look at stuff, but they again still just like kind of push this stuff under the rug.
It's because the people have seen stuff. They're just afraid to
Ashley
say.
says she'll bring the donuts to the TNT meetup.
Yes.
Finding the Trackway says, Sarah, I describe my experience as tech. A spiritualist may have seen it spiritually, et cetera, et cetera. See, that's kind of like where I look at a lot of stuff. Like it's because I'm a very spiritual person. I look and y'all have heard me talk about it in the past.
I don't want to hear you preach anymore.
I know, right?
They can watch
Especially
that
after
tomorrow.
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're done with the preaching. Just to let y'all know.
Linda says, Merry Christmas to all and to all. Good night. Love you all. My doppelganger is calling. It's bedtime. Linda, thanks for hanging out with us. We love you. We'll catch up with you soon.
See you out there.
Merry Christmas. In all fairness, my phone automatically corrects doppelgangers. I'm smart, but not that smart. Your phone automatically corrects it. See, mine would auto correct it to something ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd make it like Dookie diapers or something.
Probably.
Bigfoot Littlefoot says physical matter is music solidified. Are you talking about the brown note?
Oh man.
It's the poop log. That's why it's the poop log is influencing me, Ron.
What is wrong with you?
Cockatiel is calling.
Is that what it is? Okay. Cockatiel calling.
Anita says absolutely vibrations. It's all vibrations.
Yes.
The brown note vibrates very deeply.
Wah, wah, wah.
Linda says, see you at the TNT, Ashley.
Yes.
Anita says, when is the TNT? I want to go. We can't announce the date yet. We're holding off till after the first of the year.
Can't do that yet. You'll know. You'll know.
We'll be getting that out there soon to you guys.
We promise.
We're already in talks with them. We just can't give dates till the end of the year because they can't concrete a date for me till then.
We're trying to get some really cool tech for that.
Yep.
So gonna be cool.
Trina, there's no Trina to it. It's on the
Shut up.
it's on the
Shut
way.
up.
I'm not saying what it is.
Okay.
It's already in the mail.
Yes.
Finding the
thanks to-
Trackley says my take on the Bigfoot phenomena, that is that it has adapted as our tech has evolved. Maybe.
thanks to the good folks here, we are going to have some really good tech there.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that I could have only dreamed about. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. And it's blows my mind.
Tommy, were you just typing it on your phone to see if it would add the
Tommy, why
accent,
are
or
you
did you
doing that?
did you go back and do that yourself? Ashley says it's because iPhone itself is a doppelganger. Probably. You are probably right.
Probably it's time traveler.
Sarah says I'm guessing more flatline about it. I see stuff like, okay.
Yeah, I do.
And
that
then
too.
I get to go start the washer.
Yeah, same. Exact same. It's like
That's how I am with the ghost cat.
Like,
Ashley, stop it with the brown note. I'm finally catching up. I'm only a few minutes behind now.
Y'all better start typing some more stuff in to keep him going. It's like a game. It's kind of like when he gets to the bottom, he's going to win. So you got to keep it rolling so he doesn't win.
I'm here. I got it. I'm at the bottom.
Oh, you cheated.
Abbott says light wave. Oh, they're trying to beat me. Light wave, and the material comes from sound wave.
Dang it.
Then, all right. WSFM Weird Science and effing magic is their term.
That's funny.
No, Joe can't catch us. I already did. I'm in real time now.
He did. He caught you. He caught up. So yeah, you weren't asking him fast enough,
right?
He caught up on you, which is pretty crazy.
So Ron, where do you set? Like, we're gonna rewind back until we get some more questions here.
Seat in front of this green screen.
Yeah, right in front of the green screen. Where do you set with the whole thing with the extra dimensional stuff and the retrievable craft?
You can't.
Like, yeah, because right, that we understand like that part, but like, so
you can't.
It means that it would have to be multiple.
Well,
correct?
It means that one side has to be physical, right? Wouldn't that be what it means? Because we do have evidence that something isn't completely non-physical, or that it cannot. It seems to not be able to stay here prolonged. It's almost like when we go down into the ocean, we have to come back up, right?
Yeah.
We can't stay down there. We can't live down there. We can't breathe the air, the water. We have to breathe air. So it's kind of like whatever this is, it may be in that same exact thing. It can't really physically exist here. Like I told you before, back, when doing the research and whatnot, when I had my experiences, contact type experiences, those were not necessarily physical. And I really believe that a lot of these experiences are not necessarily physical.
Right. And we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is very metaphysical. It's happening in your mind. It's
like, how much, man, can you believe how frequently we sat at your dinner table and had this conversation before Wild and Weird even existed?
Yeah. And there's very few people who even know that conversation. And then you hear it after you start talking about it. You expect people are going to be like, oh, you're crazy. And everyone's like, oh, the hands go up. We saw that literally at our presentations. The hands literally go up. And I think it's very evident that something is trying to integrate so it can.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. I think that there's something that's trying to integrate to where it can experience this, whatever this is, life. I don't know. Like I said, I can throw so many theories at it, and it's just another theory. But the data says that a physical thing has been recovered.
Right.
The data does not say that a physical thing was recovered and it just suddenly vanished into thin air 20 minutes later. So that means it's physical, at least some part.
It'd have to be like, and then the fact that we'd be able to manipulate it, period,
right,
would have to mean that it came from at least our reality.
Right.
Exactly. Sarah says my iPhone over the years, they've all been possessed. No joke. I have video of my last one, what it would do. And what have you seen Skinwalker Ranch by chance, Sarah? Because a lot of the stuff that you talk about, and we've referenced and spoke with you before with some of this about possible
did that.
encounters. Theirs did that on the ranch, and Abbott Hoffman says angels, aliens use chariots of fire in this dimension.
They're called chariots of the gods. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. I had to. You opened that door.
Then Anita says my Bigfoot experience had aspects of both, which to me would lean it into the aspects of the bee.
If there's, that's going to be the rule. We're going to have to make some rules for that for subject B, and subject B is going to have to be literally, if there's one thing.
If there's one thing, it goes into the category.
It's got to go into the category because we're dealing with something that could be so good at trying to emulate that subject A that it's just something's not quite right. Maybe the arm's too long. Maybe it has 6 fingers.
For me, I have been doing that since we started that categorization.
Yeah.
If there is one thing, it instantly goes over there because of what you just said.
It has to. It has to.
Pat says, why can't it just be converted into physical matter when it gets here? And unless it has some other thing act on the ship, it just stays physical. That would mean that it would have the ability to shift its dimensional properties and remain that way.
Is that possible?
I mean, it's theoretical. I guess that
what class civilization would you have to do that?
Yeah, I mean, again, my brain can't wrap around it, and I'm sure most people can't either. But
that's like
it's
Q.
possible, huh?
That's like Q right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Bigfoot, Littlefoot, the people found were Sasquatch, and when they added alien DNA, bam, now we have modern humans. That is a very, very prevailing theory in the ancient astronaut camp.
In one of them.
Anita says that that's how it generally works, or feels like it works that way. Julie Bug, I would love to see a scientific study on people who have had multiple encounters with the paranormal cryptid, study their brain waves, body makeup, and other things, and what's in common with each.
Don't say it.
Well, I can't say anything yet, Julie.
But that's probably going to happen.
Anita says, I'll volunteer.
Oh, good. Okay.
We'll give you some addresses soon.
Oh, good. Good. 2 volunteers.
And then Sarah says, that's exactly what my phones do. Yeah. So she's saying the same. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's related.
Yeah.
I would almost put money that's related.
Yeah. That's some kind of energy. There's some kind of radiation there that's causing that.
Anita says, my electronics just go crazy and die all the time too. Tommy has summoned the
let's give Sky Daddy, and then let's give him a Christmas special. Yeah, I actually had to record the music for that too. I mean,
Thank you, Tommy. You are awesome. You are awesome. So I got something. The Deucer sent me some breaking news here.
Ooh.
January 6th, he is having a book signing. It's the first release and book signing of the new 12 o'clock high, the Captain Thomas Mantell Jr. UFO chase. It's going to be at the Simpson County History Center at 207 North College Street, Franklin, on Saturday, January 6th, 2024. That's in Tennessee. So if you want to go and attend that, that is in Franklin County, Tennessee, in Franklin, Tennessee. And it's going to be held at Simpson County History Center at 207 North College Street.
Okay. Awesome.
Go check that out. Larry Hose coming and keeping it free.
You have to wait till the sticker goes off before you can do that one for him. So you can see it's just not the same without the smile of the cockatiel.
Right?
He's got the smile, you know.
Larry, you're awesome. Thanks, brother. Oh, Franklin, Kentucky, not Franklin, Tennessee. Franklin, Kentucky. I'm just going to send him to the wrong state, Dewey. Don't worry.
Send him to a complete wrong country here in a minute, Dewey. You're in the UK, right? No, I'm kidding. He's not.
Pat said, not cult leader Adam. It burns. Adam never responded to me on Facebook, by the way.
Oh, that's not good. Never
No.
responded to me. Let me check.
Ada Cox, a very paranormal active town, Dewey. Anita says, I hope it's a great event, Dewey. We do too. We hope you have a good turnout, man.
No.
I wish I'd be able to make it. I'd love to come down there, but I'm not going to be able to swing this one. We tried. I tried working it once you told me when the date was going to be last week, but I haven't been able to.
Not sure where Adam's at. That's weird. We'll have to track him down.
But
so, yeah, we've got a really cool show coming up there tomorrow for you guys who enjoyed last week's show. If you enjoyed last week's show, you'll love tomorrow's show. I'm pretty sure. It's a little more to the point and to the season. It's kind of a what is it? An ancient astronauts version of the Christmas story, I guess. And it's pretty good. It's a pretty good thing. I think you're gonna really like it. Dave
oh man,
G.
tomorrow's show.
Yeah, tomorrow's show.
I think you're gonna like it. Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. It's a good one.
We got Dave G over there.
And he just says Adam was eaten by goblins. I
He
hope
may have
not.
been.
Dave G, hey, what's going on? We have officially been on long enough for the West Coast to say, hey.
There it is. Well, thank goodness. Because
He was he messaged me the other day and he was telling me that he caught the rerun of the orb video that he had sent in, and that is still one of the best captures. If you have not seen it, highly recommend go back and listen to the orbs episode and watch that video.
That actually aired a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
during one of our hiatus periods there when we were on break.
how's the weather out your way, man? You got any snow yet? Dave lives up in the PNW.
Yeah.
I know the snow line was supposed to move down to, I think it was moving down to 3,000 feet. At least it was scheduled to move down last month to 3,000 feet. So I'm curious where it's at now. And I know these things because I wish I could say it was because I was a Bigfoot nerd, but it was mostly because I'm subscribed to all these different hiking things, because I used to go out and hike in the Pacific Northwest every summer. But so I still get alerts from those.
That's sad.
Pat says, y'all smash that like button like it owes you money.
Smash it, smash it, smash it, smash it. I see some little hearts up there somebody put up.
Yep.
I see that Finding Trackway is going up to the Bigfoot camp out. That's cool. That's cool.
Oh yeah, Finding Trackway says we're going to the Pennsylvania Bigfoot camp out. You guys have fun. Sarah Ramsey said, let's go to Omar and see what happens. Never going through there again. Anita Allen says, I need to do more events. I just don't have anybody to go with.
Well, that's sad.
Oh, Dave said it's all good here. He's 50 degrees.
50s.
Yeah. So the snow line's still at 3,000 feet right now. Well, yeah, if it's 50 degrees where you're at, I'd say so. It's probably still sustaining at that 3,000 feet mark. Then Ashley says, I'm a weather watcher too. It's such a dad thing to do. It is. It is. I get the alerts from the those hiking groups because the hiking groups because the a lot of those trailway areas, they don't open till June or so when the snow recedes up the mountain some. Like you can't get into the trailheads because there's still 6 feet of standing snow. Hey, Mark Eddy jumped in.
Mark.
How you doing, buddy? Dave says, you guys do such a good job, and I can teach Suck Up 101.
Oh, gosh. That's hilarious.
"24 watching, one like. Do some smashing, right? We've got...
Right.
we've got what we can see. We got a few over here. And then let's but I'm only seeing the Facebook likes and hearts. I haven't seen I don't see the stuff from YouTube yet.
I've got 3
But Ron's
hearts,
got the other
and
screen
I've
up.
got a thumbs up over here on the YouTube side. So yeah, I don't think they know how to do it, to be honest.
I'm gonna cheat.
Because
Oh, we got 20. There's actually 20 likes on it so far.
oh well, that's awesome.
And somebody's mashing those hearts and hundreds because I brought up YouTube over there so I can watch it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool when you can do that. I
Yeah.
always forget to do that. How do you do that?
I just go to YouTube and mute it or press pause on the live stream.
Okay.
And I can, if you press pause on the video, you can still see the chats going. That way I can go over here and I can do this. And it shows up as me, not as a double chat.
Oh, that's weird.
Anita says some of the reports I read on the Bigfoot and the PNW had them migrating south in the winter. It seems like they migrate with the snow line. Yep. I was talking to Cliff about that last time when we were at Crypticon, actually. RPLB Snapper, I should try to pin your location within 30. You probably could, man, because you definitely nailed where the workshop's going to be.
There it is. Now I can see you guys over here. I think, yeah. Yeah, I got you live now, and I got all the wow. I got a lot.
Yeah, you can see the analytics from YouTube side.
Yeah. Wow, what a steady audience we've had. This is so amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's to smash that heart button like you're doing CPR.
There
so
you
it's
go.
Like
I can see it. I can see it.
What is it? But dup.
Yeah, I can see it. But the thing, the thing with that is, what's weird about it is it only seems to count the hearts when they do it in the actual comments.
Right.
And that's really bizarre. But
well,
that's
it counts. It shows us out to more people when you're doing it in the live, but it doesn't count them physically. Like when the video reposts, you won't see.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's done. So I'm going to remind you again because you did it last week and it really made a difference.
Holy crap,
Sarah, Mary.
Sarah, make sure we've got your address too.
Yeah.
So email that to us, wildandweirdwv@gmail.com.
What if I can play that again?
And thank you.
See, I told you, I wrote the whole thing. I mean, I'm not kidding. I didn't outsource anything. Everything there is handmade. There's all the tracks, you know. So yeah, I did that. That's me.
That's great.
See, spare no expense.
8 o'clock's coming in with the alien heads. I love it.
Yeah, I love those alien heads. That's awesome. Look at you.
They look so different on this side compared to the YouTube side.
They look amazing on the YouTube side.
I know, they look great.
I was saying there last week it worked. We had everybody leave a comment, and a bunch of you did. A bunch of you left the comment right after after you got off, the live, and you did that on the premiere of the podcast, and it really mattered. So yeah, every time that we end one of these things, please go over to the comment section and say, yeah, I like the show, or yeah, you guys are full of crap.
You just even go over there and hit a thumbs up on it.
I don't really care what you do.
Post the thumb up emote.
Bunch of dots. It was a fish belly, I think. It put something like,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what I say.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He's like,
true.
it doesn't matter what I say. It's just for the algorithm.
It doesn't matter what you say. You're absolutely right. So
yep.
It's all good. But yeah, that just remember to do that. That helps us a whole lot.
Pat threw up some
you.
invaders.
Look at you. You got invaders there. That's cool. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Ashley says play Free Bird. Tommy says play some Zeppelin.
Oh, don't no.
He could bust out some Pink Floyd.
No, I'm good. Everything's over there behind the green screen. I won't drag that.
No. On your little phone keytar.
No. There was a Tom.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you all so much for everything you do.
Fantabulastic.
And
You guys are just a freaking amazing is what you are. But and what I will do for you is let me find it here. Hang on. 'Cause you're so nice. Let's grab that.
Ron is reaching into
Void.
the goodie void.
Reaching into the void.
Pat says flute music, Ron.
No. No. We're gonna do something else.
Is it the theremin?
No, I don't have the theremin either. No, we're gonna do the tongue drum tonight. There we go. This is a good way to end the show.
Triangle. You're going to play the triangle.
I'm going to play the triangle for everybody. Sure, that's what I'm going to do. So
Ding.
I'm assuming everybody enjoyed the show tonight.
Oh yeah, I know I have.
Yeah, I think I did too.
I'm super thankful for everybody who's hung out with us. The 2 hours here for the live. You guys are fantastic. Y'all are awesome.
Just keep talking.
This close to the holiday season, everybody's got stuff going on. You got places to be. You got everything's running around. Everybody's doing last minute shopping. Yet you guys are sitting here with us and hanging out. And we are extremely appreciative of that, because you could be tonight of all nights. You could be 1,000 other places. And you're here. Tommy says, does Loggy Poo sound like a drum, Joe? Not yet. I haven't hollowed him out to throw candy up in there. Pat says it sounds like a Kalimaba. Chlamydia.
It's a kalimba, you dimwit.
Eyes in the Woods says, phew, I thought I was going to rough up the poop log. Feel for that little guy. Yeah, oh man, when my kids start beating him with a stick on Christmas Day, I'll video it. Julie Bug says the show's been awesome. Well, we're glad you actually made it from your obligations and jumped in here with us. It's glad we were able to stick it out long enough and you were able to jump in and hang out. And you said, boy, did I miss hearing that.
What,
why am I having flashbacks of how Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood would end? we're getting there.
Girls, that was the tongue drum.
Pat says, everybody take a deep breath and listen to the calming music and send good vibes into the universe.
Listen to the calming music and send it out. Send it out where it belongs.
Take that sound energy, make it solid, make a golem to smash your enemies.
I knew you were going to there. I was waiting on you to do it. Where's he going?
Oh.
He's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's got to do it.
Dewey says, great show tonight. Merry Christmas to all. I love my weirdo
Christmas.
family. And we love you too, Deuster.
Every one of you wild and weirdos and weirdettes out there, you make this thing happen.
You and the boss lady, y'all have a Merry Christmas and enjoy all the festiveness with people around the house.
What are y'all eating?
Dude, I'm actually, Dewey, I'm actually going to make those sausage balls, because when you posted those up, my mouth instantly started watering. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, what are you guys eating out there? I want to know, because
yeah, give us some of your Christmas food that you guys are going to be looking forward to.
I posted I shared over on my Facebook today the
yes, a golem,
the Giorgio schnitzel recipe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that popped up. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll put that out there because it's really delicious.
This is hilarious.
Didgeridoo.
Finding the trackway says music. Hang on, I'll get my didgeridoo.
Oh,
Ron, what did I send you a picture of the other night?
That's great.
I sent Ron a picture of my old didgeridoo that I hadn't touched in probably
great.
8 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I showed Rowan how to play it, and I was making the noises, and he was like, "This is weird, Daddy. I like it."
Well, there you go. He fits in. Yeah.
Pat says, it will be a terrible day for many people. I figure out how to manifest golems. Oh,
let's not do
Mark
that.
Eddy said, have a Merry Christmas. I look forward to seeing more shows in the new year. Oh, they will be there.
Oh,
will
they
be
will
there.
for sure be there.
We don't land in the top 25% of all podcasts in the world to not continue having new shows in the new year.
Yeah, can you?
You best believe.
Never would have imagined in a million years.
That blew my mind.
Not in a million years would I have thought that. So that was just fantastic.
Oh, Tommy's going to be having some pepperoni rolls.
Oh,
We're
my
probably going to have some of
goodness.
those too. I think my grandma's making
I
some.
haven't had any good pepperoni rolls for a while.
I'll save you some. If my grandma makes some, I'll save some.
Yeah, I'd
for
like
you.
to have
'Cause
some.
we're actually going back to the old Christmas tradition this year.
You're gonna
We're having Italian food.
really?
Yes, I can't wait. We're
Fantastic.
having fresh gnocchi and fresh pasta and sauce and
Gnocchi.
can't wait to go over and have Christmas dinner this year. It's going to
Man.
be fantastic.
That does sound amazing.
Anita said, "You want a
I'm
recipe
not.
for some amazing sausage balls?" Yes, send it.
Yes, by all means.
And I do mean rocking around the Christmas tree with my didgeridoo.
There you go.
Bigfoot, Littlefoot, use your Geiger counter on your next Sasquatch track you find. We do on all of them.
typically.
We always have it with us when we go out now.
Yeah, man, that's kind of a thing now.
Chris Coote says, my wife is bringing Indrid coleslaw to the Christmas dinner. That's a good thing.
There you go.
It will make the in-laws' food actually edible. Oh, my gosh.
That's bad, Chris.
But at least this coleslaw's good.
Y'all, the coleslaws.
The famous yellow slaw is going to rock everybody's socks.
Yes.
Anita Allen says, making mincemeat
pie.
pie, some country-style green beans, and sweet potato casserole. That sounds good.
Sweet potato casserole. God, you guys are making me hungry.
Follows it up with Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, too.
Merry
Nancy.
Christmas.
Top 25 is pretty awesome. Congrats, guys. Yeah, it was. I was shocked.
Thanks, Pat.
Like in a world where, like I said earlier, in a world where there's almost half as many podcasts as there are humans on the planet, we're in the top 25%.
There are half as many
crazy.
podcasts as there are humans on the planet.
Sorry, I had to.
Sarah says, "Oh, rolling into the South Lake. Look at her up killer rolls." Okay, look those up. 7 days and look for me in west with the setting of the sun. Let's see. Julie Buck says, I miss my West Virginia pepperoni rolls. Dave says, just one more thing. Merry Christmas to everybody. I love this group. Later, gang. Hey, Dave, good night.
Hey,
Merry Christmas to
thank
you
you.
and all yours over there in Oregon. I think it's Oregon. Pretty sure it's Oregon. I shipped stuff to you. I should know. But
He doesn't know. He doesn't.
I can't remember, Dave, but I'm pretty sure it's Oregon. So hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Merry
man.
Christmas, Dave.
Anita said, my mom-in-law makes Christmas ham every year, and I bring whatever else she wants. There you go. There you go. Pat says 8 ounces of mustard, 8 ounces of red currant jelly, and a pack of Little Smokies. It is great. I've never had the with red currant jelly, but I've had it with raspberry preserves.
Yep.
And the mustard with the Smokies, and
God,
that was good.
Hungry. All of you.
Finance Trackway says, okay, maybe like 4 hours after the sun sets. I'll bring them when I have the work. Hey, yeah, that'd be great. You bring those. I'll bring some pepperoni rolls. We'll have big time.
Oh yeah. So let's talk
Ashley
about
says,
that.
I usually make biscuits and gravy every Christmas, but I might be having some broth if this COVID doesn't let up. Yeah, everybody, send Ashley some prayers and good vibes, because
send her some. Yeah, exactly. Some.
she's
prayers,
getting
good
her butt
vibes,
kicked
and
by the
energy.
vid, and hopefully by Christmas, hopefully you don't have the one that takes your taste away.
That thing sucked.
I haven't seen you complain about that symptom, so I'm hoping that's not one you've been.
I know people with that happened to. Now we lost our smell, and that's how I knew I was getting better, was when I started to be able to smell coffee again. But yeah, that
Night,
was
Ada. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a good one. Delta, absolutely. Hey, thanks for joining us, and thanks for hanging
Del.
out with us, Del. It's awesome having you in the chat anytime you're here, man.
Thank you guys. Everybody remember.
Glad seeing you back.
Share. Because we're terrible at telling people to do that. So
We
please
are.
Try to remember that for us and help.
And
us.
I've even got little buttons here that I can mash them, and
It doesn't do any good.
And they do things like this, Like if you've had an encounter and you want to send it in, go to Walden and we'll read it on Walden Red Radio. And where you can send that to, you can go to our website, or not the one at the shops, but this one, the waldenweird@gmail.com, and you can send it straight there, or you can go to our website and fill out the sighting report.
That. It just says shops. You're trying to sell stuff. There's nothing in the shop right now.
Yeah, I know there's nothing in the shop
Don't
yet.
go to the shop. It won't do you any good.
But remember, the show's brought to you guys by Adam Good, Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Dewey Edwards, Spooky Appalachia, Larry Hose, Guitar Chains Craig, Travis Rednick, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Bigfoot Littlefoot, Tommy Swigger,
Mhm.
Terry Summerfield,
Mhm.
Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, and Finding the Trackway. You guys are
And-
keeping it free for eons to
And these
come.
little guys help, like it or not. That's all there is to it. Yeah. One way or the other, we're all here because of that. So,
Ashley says my doctor gave me Paxlovid,
Paxlovid.
so I should be good. Hey, that's good. Good.
Good girl.
Hopefully
You'll
you're
be
feeling
fine.
better then.
yeah, you'll be fine.
I lost like 30 pounds when I had the vid. Then I found it sitting on my dresser and put it back on. Oh,
That's how you don't do it.
Donna says many years ago, my brother taught me that we could call a person psychically. Oh, Donna,
man.
Donna's in the way back. But yeah, that's she must be listening to us on a delay. Donna, I'm sorry.
Y'all.
That
just
would
reminded
I
me.
wish I'd have seen that one like 20 minutes ago.
That just reminded me. We got to do our thing before we get off here. We got to.
Santa's elves are busy with other projects, so there's nothing on the shop right now. That's right.
Adam's not here, so we're gonna see who gets.
Anita Allen, I think my paranormal experiences are boring, so I never bother reporting things these days.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, everybody.
Here we go. What's your guesses? Remember, square, circle, star, squiggly lines, or plus. That's your choices. It's standard center. Let's go. Now. Lock them in.
Bigfoot Littlefoot says the age of revealing. The Mayan predicted this shift 26,000 years ago. Yeah, and that's very likely what the calendar end was the paradigm change.
Well, it certainly
Going
did
into the new
change.
world. A new era. Nikki Bennett, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for jumping
Merry
in, Nikki.
Christmas, Nikki. If you're new, we're just doing a little Zenner card test here, like I like to test everybody because it's a weird thing I've always done. That's a square, a circle, a plus, squiggly lines, or a star is what that is. So everybody's locking in their votes right now. And I'm sending it out so you guys can figure it out. What is this? We ready for the reveal? Everybody
Let's
got
do
their
it.
votes? Everybody locked in?
Let's do it. Plus,
How many of you
Ashley
got it? 'Cause I
got
know
it.
a
Julie
lot of
Bug
people
got it. Pat got it. And that was it.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, I was on the wood said I couldn't find the plus on my keyboard, so they hit the
Someone said
asterisk.
X, so that's it too.
But yeah, so we got a few
And
pluses there.
Anita,
Pat said, "Wow, I got one right."
you did. You got the first one right. And that's typically how it works with the tests. But boy, I can't wait to really test these things soon when we get our little piece of equipment we can't talk about. But God bless each and every single one of you for helping us be able to do that, because you're going to get a really, really, really cool workshop now.
Yeah, the workshop's going to be an absolute ball.
You're going to want to be there. What?
Ashley said, "It's the COVID. It's my updated DNA that made me psychic."
Yeah.
Donna Ho said he was typing to prove a point to me and quit fearing that I was going to run into someone I didn't want to see because my thoughts could manifest that very situation.
We've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like, you know what? I don't even think about that person. That happens sometimes. There are people,
Yeah.
I know it's hard to believe, but there are people I don't want to think about. None of you guys. You guys are wonderful.
You guys are all fantastic.
Freaking amazing.
Well, boys and girls, this has been an absolute ball of a show. I hope you've enjoyed the "'Tis the Season for UFOs" holiday-ish special.
Let's not forget, this was the solstice special as well.
It was. This was a solstice. Tonight is the
Mhm.
longest night of the year. Every night after this one, there's more daylight coming ahead of us, which is very upsetting.
No, it's not. That's awesome. That's perfectly awesome. That's why I like the solstice, because it's the reminder. Winter it's coming, but there's this bright ray of sunshine that's going to be coming, and it's going to be getting brighter and brighter and brighter every day, and pretty soon we're back into tropical atmosphere. You know, I can go back to the beach. It's going to be great. I love
Pat
it.
says it's the best night of the year, and I agree, it is the best night. It's the longest night of the year. I love it because it's the longest night of the
A
year.
lot of people believe that it's a mystical night as well.
They do.
So let's not
They do.
forget that.
There's a lot of druidic and shamanic,
Yeah.
stuff with
I
the
intend to
solstices.
pull out the crystal skull here in a little bit and try to open up a portal to I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
Anita Allen says, keep a light on overnight to help with the sun find its way back. Ah, yuck.
You're supposed to light a torch, aren't you?
I'd move to the Arctic Circle if I could and experience 6 months.
He's weird. He's weird. He's like a polar bear. So just bear with
Yeah.
it. You get used to it after a while.
I just like the dark. I'm sorry.
See, there's something wrong with you. There's just something wrong with you.
Ashley says it sounds like something a vampire would say.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Tommy says, Merry Christmas to all and Happy New Year. Keep it wild and weird. And if you see Krampus, take a blurry picture.
Well, Joe tracked him down wanting to get beat, so it's all good.
Pat said, that's why I got one right. I need to go buy a lottery ticket.
Now,
I like the cold and dark too.
But no,
Pat's,
Pat,
Pat's on my team.
You blew it, Pat. You blew it on a stupid test. You only got one shot, bud. Sorry. You got to recharge.
Julie
now.
Bug likes the night better as well. See, I'm not alone. I'm not too terribly weird.
Look, dude, I didn't say I didn't like the night. You said cold. I do not like the
Yes,
cold.
yeah. Well, Pat likes the cold and dark. Me and Pat are both
You're
like that.
weird. You're both weird. And not in a good way. That's not right.
Larry says the Alaskan darkness isn't that great.
Thanks,
Yeah, because
Larry.
Larry was up there for a while. But
Shatter the myth, Larry. Tell them how it really is. And
I like the cold and dark. I just always have. I have light sensitive eyes, and I get headaches when I'm exposed to a lot of light.
You get headaches when you're exposed to radiation.
Which is what light is.
Is it, though?
Solar radiation.
You don't have solar radiation in your basement. You have ghost cats.
Yeah, that's
Subject
true.
B. Subject B. There you go.
Donna said we went to a hilltop overlooking. Oh, jumped late night, and he told me to randomly choose someone. So I did, and he taught me step by step afterward. And we went out to Denny's, and within a few minutes, he walked in. Yeah.
Hmm?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a
happens.
thing. I used to teach people to do that all the time. It was fun.
I'm still working on that lottery thing. Though.
Julie Buck said, I like 50 degree days a whole lot better than 90 degree. Yeah.
Oh, you
I'm with you there.
guys.
Anita says, I see better in dim lights, always like the night. Screw that cold.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the cold. You guys can have that cold.
Pat says, Joe and I are more adapted to higher latitudes than most people. Yeah, I'd say so. I like nice overcast day in the 70s and no rain. Light is EMF radiation.
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
Also, photosensitive here. Yeah, I'm photosensitive. That's my
He is.
hyper photosensitivity. See you at the pool. I'm a
There you
sun
go.
person.
See that? Right there. There you go. That's my people.
You won't see me at the pool. I mean, you might see me. I might look like the Glimmer Man because the paleness just
I don't know, man.
glows.
Y'all with them cold demeanors. I don't know. Y'all got your latitudes. Your attitudes need change. All I can say about that. I don't know.
Well, guys, you are all awesome. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Thank you guys for making this show what it is. And I hope you guys all have a very, very Merry Christmas.
Merry,
You got
Merry
anything to
Christmas.
close with, Ron?
Yeah, absolutely. Just Merry Christmas. Give them a UFO.
Give them a UFO. Give the
UFO.
people a UFO. Let's do it.
No one else is going to. Government's not
That's
going
right.
to. You know, I had to learn how to make things snow just so I could do this show for you guys. I really did. I didn't know how to make particle systems until this week, so you're welcome. Um, show the cockatiel one because without anything at the bottom, you can actually see him. There. I love that fire.
It looks good.
I love
You
that
did a
fire.
good job.
Well, it took all night to render that, but it was well worth it. Like I said.
Angie said, just made it home, but thought I would pop in to wish you all Merry Christmas. Well,
Merry
thank you, Angie. Glad
Christmas.
you made it home safe and
That's where we're
sound. We
at.
were wondering where you were earlier. Good to know that you're all good. And Merry Christmas to you guys.
And you guys, don't forget, I did issue a challenge this week, and for the first time in history, it was taken up. Several people have commented that they are thinking about doing the Mothman, the Moth.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the song.
Uh-oh.
So if you want to get in on that, yeah, just go and video yourself singing it or playing it or whatever you're going to do. I don't really care. And if we like it, we're going to send you something really, really cool for making a fool out of yourself.
We'll
first
probably air it.
we will air it, but we will definitely make sure that you get something extremely cool for that. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Because I don't know when I started that. It was a couple years ago. I think
Yeah,
like
it was the
2019.
second year of Wild and Weird.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. And it usually just gets ignored. And this year, people are like,
it was the
"Hey."
first year that we did the Christmas ornaments.
Yeah, that's when it was. You're right. So 2019. And yeah, so if you can, you guys go out there and it's on the Facebook page, it's on the group. It's Mothy the Mothman. The lyrics are there. All you got to do is perform it, sing it, perform it. And
It is sang to the tune of Frosty the
yeah,
Snowman.
that's right. It is sang to the tune of Frosty the Snowman. That's right. And it's Mothy the Mothman. And video yourself doing it. Post it up there on the in the group and make sure that yes, we do have the shirts. There are shirts in the store that have that on it. And make sure that those shirts are limited too. Those will be gone on the 1st of January. Make sure that if you do it, you do tag Wild and Weird West Virginia and Wild and Weird Radio as well, so we can find you. And then feel free to post it where you want. It don't really matter then. It's yours. So
excellent show, great chat. Well, thanks, Larry. Glad you jumped in the chat with us and hung out. We really appreciate having you around. It was a good conversation, and we agree with you.
Always an incredible. And please, tomorrow evening, tune in 8:00 to the regular podcast. Reverend Carter will be with us again, and it's an Ancient Alien Christmas special. And we talk about a few things that are relevant, and stars and that ain't stars, things like that. So yeah, Ashley's gonna try. Well, you got
all right, guys.
Deadline's New Year's, so if you guys do it,
don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends about Wild and Weird Radio, and especially about the live show. Tell your friends how much fun it is. We've got one more live show left this year. Next week is the last one. We're going to pop on and do a New Year's thing, but it's just going to be for a few minutes. But next week, come hang out with us. Bring a friend. Share it to somebody on your friends list. Reach out to somebody that you know is also interested in the weird stuff, or might even just have questions that would like to hear some answers that aren't extremely skewed one direction or another. This is a great place to do it. It sounds off, And, Donna says the two most intelligent men to date, Einstein and Tesla, both stated that they had no doubt that there being a creator. They didn't necessarily attribute it to a deity, but an intelligent designer nonetheless. And if you listen,
you're going to love tomorrow night's show.
To the show tomorrow, you'll enjoy. But guys, thank you. Remember, check out the new episode tomorrow night. It is the official holiday special featuring Reverend Michael Carter from Ancient Aliens. It's a blast. He's part of the family at this point. We love having him on. And he's an official co-host at this point now.
He's already trying to figure out when he can come back.
I know. It's great. It's great. So, guys, y'all have a fantastic Christmas. Enjoy your families as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Hope you all have some excellent food. Get out there, get wild and weird. Enjoy as much as possible, because this time of year is special.
Have fun.
Just go have
Have
fun.
fun. Just have fun.
I will be paranormal investigating in Gettysburg on New Year's Eve. Larry, you are the luckiest son of
That's
a gun.
fun.
That'll be fun. We record some stuff and send it over, and we'll play it on the show, and we'll have
Yeah,
you come on and talk about anything that happened.
Definitely. That's fun.
That sounds like a guest appearance there.
Yeah, document it, and we'll throw you on there for sure.
Good night and much love to the Weird family. Absolutely. Absolutely. We hope you guys have a really good time. I just want you to know how much we appreciate you, especially this time of year. It's a rough time of year for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys show up here, you hang out with us, you spend your time that never comes back with people in the chat, with us, and we just can't thank you enough. You guys were all amazing.
It's it is. It's amazing, and it's our gift. It really is. And I don't mean a gift to you, but it's our gift. You give
Right.
to us, because when we started this thing, dude, I'm telling you guys, we thought it was amazing when we got 100 listeners.
Yeah.
You know, when we started the channel itself, we didn't even do our YouTube channel. We never even put anything into it until last year.
Right.
It was there for like 2 years. I started the channel, and we just never did anything with it because, what are we going to do? And people started actually caring. And once you started showing support, well, we're going to show the support back, because we always said this is your show. So the more support we see, the more good show you get. And there's some really cool stuff coming in 2024. And Joe, that leads me up to, right before we go off, a little preview. We are going to do the year in review. We are going to do our speculation time, the forecast, when we look into the future. And that's going to be a special show too. So you don't want to miss that. And I'm thinking we might do that live this time.
I was going to say, let's do it live.
I'm thinking we'll do it live this time. And I'm thinking we're going to bring on the Crystal Skull to help prognosticate.
All right. Guys, as always, it's been a pleasure to spend this night with you all and have you guys in the chat hanging out with us and sitting in the director's seat of the show and steering the boat, guys. You guys, we can't thank you enough. You keep us going, keep us motivated. This is the highlight of our week. And with that, Merry Christmas. And remember, if you have a cockatiel under your tree, make sure you feed it before you beat it. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Man.
Stay wild and weird.
What? That is just wrong on so many levels.